The private equity takeover. You don't own your world anymore. Now who own your world? In 2026, ownership no longer looks the way it used to. You don't see fences, you don't see signs, you don't see flags. But you feel it. The apartment you rent, the hospital you visit, the warehouse that delivers your packages, the retirement home your parents will one day depend on. Behind them, there is a silent class of owners. They don't campaign for votes. They don't appear on television. They don't need public approval. They operate through contracts, leverage, and capital. Private equity. What began as a financial strategy quietly transformed into a controlling force behind the modern economy.
So let's start with this Blackstone $20 billion fundraise. I mean,
you knew we had to talk about this.
Well, but how much money is going to be amassed for investment? How much money is sitting out there right now?
It's incredible. So there's roughly $1 trillion of so-called dry powder in private equity. $1 trillion that needs to be put to work.
I actually believe inflation will be abating very rapidly.
We now have $170 billion of dry powder available to invest.
BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard control $22 trillion in assets, which is roughly the equivalent of the entire gross domestic product of the United States.
I always wondered, why weren't individuals doing the same things as the big institutions? And it was only relatively recently where private investors started buying these types of securities that we create.
In recent years, Wall Street giants and institutional investment firms, many of you are here, you've driven up housing prices by purchasing hundreds of thousands of single-family homes, and it's been a great investment for them.
And in 2026, a growing number of people are asking an uncomfortable question. What happens when the foundations of everyday life are owned by institutions designed for extraction, not stability? This is the story of the private equity takeover.
It's important you understand that we're not like a normal stock or bond that goes up and down all the time. When you buy a public stock or bond, you can't do anything if you don't like the performance. You can sell it. What we do is we fix things, we run things, we develop things, we add enormous amount of value.
The $9 trillion shadow economy private equity is no longer small, secretive, or marginal. In 2026, global private equity assets under management exceed $9 trillion. That is more capital than the annual economic output of Germany, Japan, or India. And yet, most people barely understand how it works. Here is the simplified model. Giant firms like BlackRock and institutional funds raise money from pension funds and insurance companies.
I want to thank Larry Fink and BlackRock for what they're doing. It's a tremendous investment. It's also an acknowledgement about how important the workforce and training the workforce is to our country and to our state. Electricians alone, I hear we need something like 10,000 of them in the state of Texas as we speak right now, even more in the future.
They borrow additional capital from banks. Then they acquire everyday companies using massive leverage. But here is the critical detail. The debt used to buy the company is not carried by the fund. It is loaded onto the company itself. The acquired company must now generate extreme cash flow just to service Wall Street's debt. This structure works beautifully when interest rates are low. It collapses when rates hit 7 or 8%. And in 2026, the breaking point has arrived. Blackstone and the housing machine. After the 2008 financial crisis, millions of family homes flooded the market. Private equity saw an opportunity. Instead of buying homes one by one, institutional titans, led by Blackstone, bought thousands of single-family homes at once. Entire American, Canadian, and Australian neighborhoods were acquired, converted into corporate rental portfolios, and financialized. Housing stopped being shelter. It became a yield machine for Wall Street. Blackstone-backed landlords now control vast segments of the suburban rental market. Rent levels are no longer set by local wages or community realities. They are set by predatory corporate return targets. And when central banks hiked interest rates, those targets didn't disappear. They were passed directly down to the desperate tenants.
Affordability is the buzzword making waves from Main Street to Wall Street to Washington. And we're taking a deep dive into the real estate market.
I guess at the time, if you go back, this is right before the financial crisis. And I was running our real estate business. And what we were looking for was how could we buy great real estate or operating businesses at reasonable prices.
And America will not become a nation of renters. We're not going to do that. That's why I have signed an executive order banning large institutional investors from buying single-family homes.
Monetizing survival housing wasn't enough. Private equity moved into healthcare, hospitals, emergency clinics, and nursing homes. The logic was cold. Healthcare demand is inelastic. People get sick regardless of the economy. That makes your survival the perfect asset for leveraged returns. Costs were aggressively cut. Staffing levels were reduced to dangerous minimums. Billing systems were weaponized. In America, private equity even took over chains of children's dental clinics. Corporate managers forced doctors to perform unnecessary fillings on toddlers just to meet cash flow targets to pay off Wall Street debt. The system became financially efficient for investors, but operationally fragile for human beings. Leverage demands cash flow, and cash flow demands absolute pressure on the vulnerable. Now comes the dangerous part. Between 2026 and 2028, hundreds of billions of dollars in leveraged buyout debt must be refinanced. But the financial environment has permanently changed. What was borrowed during the era of free money at 3% must now roll over at 7 or 8%. Corporate margins are shrinking. Defaults are rising. If refinancing fails, these private equity giants must sell their assets quickly. And when multiple massive funds dump housing portfolios, hospital chains, and infrastructure at the same time, markets freeze. This isn't a typical stock market crash. It is a compression trigger. Pressure building silently until the structure snaps. The Gilded Fall. The private equity era was built on fake assumptions: cheap money, stable growth, and easy exits. In 2026, those assumptions are broken. The question is no longer whether private equity firms will survive. They will. The elite always do. The question is, what breaks with them? When your housing, your healthcare, your logistics, and your job are all tied to Wall Street leverage, failure does not stay contained. It travels structurally.
At Blackstone, we are the global leader in the alternative investment business. When we see something we believe in, the shift to logistics or what's happening around big data, the perspective we have as global investors in scale allows us to identify some of these big trends and then go out and capture them.
Well, Blackstone is really a global firm now. We operate in Europe, the United States, Latin America, and Asia. And we can see trends moving across the world.
Private equity did not conquer the world with armies. It did it with spreadsheets. And when a global economy is built on debt instead of resilience, the Gilded Fall is never dramatic at first. It is inevitable.